Hey guys, it's Heidi, and today we are at the thrift store looking for anything to find and flip on eBay. So we've got cute little coin bags here. This one right away catches my eye just because it's an animal print. Unfortunately, I couldn't even find a brand on it, and it was kind of a poor material, so I just left it behind. This was like a Trina Vanderbilt, and the only thing that reminded me of that is there's that brand Gloria Vanderbilt. But that's a clothing brand, so this here was interesting, a pouchy. It was probably the nicest piece on this rack, but there was some significant staining on the top there. It's a cute kangaroo brand. This thrift store was interesting because they have had someone make some pretty significant donations to them. As you can see, all of these bags are exactly the same, and I almost wonder if it wasn't TJ Maxx. There's a TJ Maxx close by, which is kind of nice to see that they don't throw their stuff away. They donate it, and I'm only making an assumption that's where it came from. Always check the fanny packs. Royal Caribbean Cruise. Lots of hats. This store had a lot of hats. There was even a completely different section of hats too. So that was kind of a nice John Deere hat. I've been noticing that there's a lot of, I know that John Deere items bring a lot of money on eBay. People just like that name brand. But I've been noticing that even their clothing, the John Deere clothing, does go for decent money on eBay. This here really caught my eye. Not this artwork here, but the Cloaks and Clark string crochet thread. I crochet, so I know that this stuff can really start to become expensive. Unfortunately, it's not really worth that much, and I have a ton of it already anyway. But I'll be honest, if you guys are thinking about starting to craft, going to the thrift store is exactly where you should go. Over the past year of me going to thrift stores, the Goodwill bins, etc., I have found probably some of the coolest crafts ever. And here I really hit the Wilton cake pan jackpot. As you can see, a Little Mermaid pan from like the 80s. This one here was Blue's Clues. Okay. This was an older Happy Birthday bear. And then the coolest one of all, the Pink Panther. Now, I probably should have bought all of these, and being the cheapo that I am, I don't think I bought any of them. Even that little teddy bear. And some of these were so old, I couldn't even find any history on them. Now, here are some animals that I fell in love with. This elephant here it was carved out of wood, but it had leather ears. And one of that front ear there was kind of ripped. And these horses were great. I was probably stupid for not picking those up. But this guy, he really was the best. He also had leather ears, which now makes me realize that whoever made the elephant also made this guy. Oh, look, I did pick up some cake pans. Look, that's even an Elmo in there. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I love these guys. I think they were made out of wood. That or paper mache. I can't remember. This is one of my favorite knick-knack stores. It's called Many Hands Thrift, I think. You probably saw it on the price tag. But most of these stores color coordinate the knickknacks. So like, for example, all of the brown stuff will be in one section. All of the blue stuff will be in one section. It's kind of cool. Now we're in the media section, and they've got a lot of books. I was kind of trying to scope out the CDs, see what they had in stock. I must not have found anything, though. You got some nice rugs there. See how they color coordinate? Isn't that just gorgeous? They had some cute little dogs. Sometimes you see things in the footage that you're just like, oh, that was probably worth money, that little teddy bear bowl. That looks very vintage. But really, the only thing I saw there was the dogs because I love dogs. This was super cute, this little teapot. This little trinket box had been, made out of wood, probably on a lathe, but I didn't understand what it said. Snow drop or something. And then there was like weird stuff glued to it. These also caught my eye. I really liked these little horse salt and pepper shakers. Actually, I'm not sure that they were salt and pepper shakers. And then there were these cute little mice. This was another trinket box where like seashells had just been glued to it, which was kind of an interesting concept. Of course, I saw the fish. This was kind of interesting because the bottom was actually glazed too in a neat, ornate type of way. This little purse. I should have taken a look at that lion carousel figurine. I remember my grandma always used to tell me, make sure if you ever find like a carousel style item to look it up because they usually bring quite a bit of money. And she would buy like life-size type carousel figures. Obviously not the entire carousel, but, you know, just like the animal on a pole. I remember for years she kept a very beautiful horse in their entryway. Lots of mugs. And I know that sometimes these things can go for good cash too, but I just don't have the room to hold a lot of this stuff. You know, some people have additional storage, garage. I don't have any of that. So I try to limit what I buy, which is hard sometimes. Electric scissors. I thought this was an interesting item because we've all heard of the electric knife, but I've never heard of electric scissors. Here again, I found some more Wilton cake pans. This was actually a Raggedy Ann doll. Still had some cake left in it. At first I just thought that it was a doll, but this is actually a Raggedy Ann. I did put that in my cart to look it up. A number 2 Wilton cake pan. This was a old Wilton 4th of July pan. Kind of cool. And then I saw that someone had donated new in box Pampered Chef items. Now, I didn't understand that. It was like a non-sticking pan device, but this was a microwave chip maker. And I did pick this up for personal use. I love Pampered Chef stuff. And it does have decent retail value to it too. This was just a congratulations pan by Wilton. And I've been seeing a few of these 3D cake pan molds too. Like this one here, it was like a lion. I wonder if that wasn't, if I looked closer into that, if that wouldn't have been from the movie The Lion King. I should have. And hey, why not? Let's just jump straight into the Goodwill bins, because we know that the bins are full of interesting things. Some old pantyhose. I'll be honest, sometimes I watch people's bins, like bin videos, and it's just like, oh, they have a lot more cooler stuff at their bins than we do, but it really just depends on the day. And most days aren't as great as what you think that they might be, but you know, sometimes you get lucky. A lot of times it's what a person is looking for too. It's like I said, if you're looking for crafting materials, sometimes it just randomly shows up. If you're looking for plush, you know, I very rarely pick up plush. There have been a few Pokemon plush that I will pick up. I've been seeing a lot of greeting cards. It's an old troll. Like an old school troll. What they used to look like. And I've heard these operation games, they never have the pieces in the box. And so I've been kind of like checking out that theory, and everyone is right. And kind of what I've noticed at the bins here lately is people see a package and they just obliterate it. Like that game, they would take the lid off and just dump all of the contents out on purpose. And it's just like, be gentle. You know, somebody might buy that, but they wouldn't buy it if it's in a bazillion pieces at the bottom of the bin. Just checking out a few CDs. Some of these old, like the Now CDs especially, can be worth some money. So I'll go ahead and like grab those from time to time. Old VHS. Has anyone, I don't know, when I was growing up, Dragon Tales was always on PBS, and it was one of my favorites. In fact, I would probably still watch Dragon Tales if I watched normal TV in the morning. Just kind of a great kids show. This here, is it the Tao of Cooking? This is a vegetarian cookbook, and I almost picked this up, and you'll see me put it in my cart. If you are into vegetarian style cooking or are curious about it, this book has a really good ranking on Amazon. I didn't pick it up because there was a lot of food splatters on it. Somebody obviously had been using it in the kitchen quite a bit, and good for them. But yeah, it looked really good. So you might want to check that out. An old Winnie the Pooh book. Winnie the Pooh seems to be picking up in steam. I think that there's been a few movies come out about it, and it's spiked people's interest in it again. These were like ceramic animal hangers. A lot of them were busted up, unfortunately, because obviously they're in the bins. Kind of a rough place for a ceramic. This was a cute little basket. I've picked up baskets like this before in the past, and then I just give them to my mom. Candyland. Who doesn't love a good game of Candyland? Pete the Cat. Someone taped the box shut, which was good. This shirt, I had to take a... This was from Popeye, Wimpy. I like big guns and I cannot lie. Sadly, I don't think I would have correlated that with Popeye if I hadn't gone to Universal Studios. My grandpa was a big fan of Popeye. The amount of McDonald's toys that end up in wastelands is significant. Yikes. This was a cool lemon wreath. In all seriousness, wreaths are kind of expensive. I don't have a purpose for a wreath, but a good spring wreath would have been a lemon wreath. This was a super cool magazine rack. I don't know if furniture makers even make magazine racks anymore, because it used to be a thing that people would have magazine subscriptions and they would need a place to put all of their magazines. So furniture makers would build magazine racks, and pretty much everyone had one of these in their household. Now I'm not even sure it's a normal thing, but it was pretty cool to see the geese carved into the wood there, so pretty cool piece. This was a Halloween decoration. I'm not sure if that's just something like you would tape on your window. Maybe it was a pumpkin stencil. I don't know. It was kind of a heavy plastic. If you guys are looking for puzzles, sometimes these puzzles at the Goodwill bins have never been put together before. You just kind of have to like shake the box, and if the pieces are moving around a lot, that's a good indication that the pieces are loose in there and it could be missing some. But some pieces, if they don't move around a lot, they're still bagged up, and it should have all the pieces. A healthy heart. I did pick up a German Shepherd hat pin the other day. I figure somebody might be interested in something like that. Little metal hat pin. That was a Yamaha box. I don't know if a part was in it or... I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of empty boxes. I hope that people aren't donating their empty boxes to Goodwill. This was just a mass-produced piece of art. That was a cute Santa Claus piece of wooden, I don't know, you could put your toilet paper in that. And this was also a really neat piece, but I was surprised to see that there's a Made in China sticker on the bottom. Pine cone crafts. Make your own snowmen. I looked this up. Some CDs in other languages can bring decent money. I've definitely been paying more attention to the media, whether it's, even VHS. I haven't purchased a VHS because, to be honest, I don't know anybody who still owns a VHS player. So that makes me nervous. I feel like you might set on something like that for a really long time. CD players, though, people still have those. And who knows, maybe someday they'll start making VHS players again. But that's kind of what they did with vinyl, They started making record players again. And I believe they've done quite well. Scooby-Doo. Oh, there's a Doc Martin right there to the left. I have been seeing some interesting shoes put out by companies that don't look too bad. Now, I'm not sure what this is here either, but it's like some sort of presser foot. I don't know if it's like for a musical instrument. This was a pretty neat piece of string art, cross stitch work. So rip off of Fievel Goes West. An empty cereal box. Did you guys see that? It had a NASCAR driver on it. Pretty crazy stuff. Nativity scene. This was a brand new sealed World Trade Center DVD. This was some Canon photo paper, still sealed up. Looked kind of in rough shape though. This hat was kind of interesting, but I'd never heard of the brand. Some of these bins were pretty full. I had a hard time filming. This was a Vera Bradley lunchbox. The outside looked really nice. The inside was nasty. This is a Bundt cake pan. The Elf on the Shelf Christmas book. That might have been a Lisa Frank coloring book, and I just tossed it away. They make modern day Lisa Frank coloring books though, so I shouldn't be too paranoid about that. This guy was kind of cute. Okay, I've been seeing tons and tons of these like car sun visors. They just like completely cover up everything in the bins, and they're super annoying to deal with. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, that was a great story. This cross was super heavy duty. Probably to know the truth, it was an older piece. Could have been worth something. Connect 4, that was a great game. I've been seeing a lot of virtual reality headsets there too. This was a Mickey Mouse stamp set for like your walls. Kind of interesting. It's a very bad angle that I've got going on there. This book looked kind of neat. I threw it in my cart, but didn't end up keeping it. Does anyone remember playing this? That was a great game. So like you push the plate down and you put all of the pieces in it, and then you set the timer, and then like when the timer went off, all of these pieces would like pop up. Now I don't remember exactly then what would happen next, but I remember playing it a lot. Sesame Street DVD. This looked like a fun game. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But obviously vintage. And then I saw that turtle van. I think I pick it back up a little bit later here, maybe not. But that's a newer turtle piece. Like that was on the shelves this fall and somebody has already donated it. Yes, turtle power. I remember seeing that on the shelves this past fall. Some Dr. Seuss cards. This was another cute little character that I was not able to identify. Plastic canvas. I remember growing up, my mom was really into plastic canvas. So this was a craft that we got into. You don't see a whole lot of it anymore. I think the materials are still there in the craft store that you can buy, but not something that most people pick up and do. Then I found some chili seasoning mix that someone was trying to sell for 50 cents. Whenever I find food items at the bins, I find it kind of interesting. Just like, oh. And these here, I don't know if these would have been a good deal, but it's for ventilation or insulation on metal roofing. There was a couple of packages of those there. And again, one of them had been ripped open and somebody had literally torn it to bits. And it's just like, why? Like, why destroy something that somebody could get use out of? I don't know if it's kids or, well, actually I've seen adults doing it. Game called Partini. The party game with a delicious twist. Ghosted. A lot of these games are super heavy in weight. I don't know what that Lego thing was. What was that? I didn't even take a second to take a look at it, but it's another game. I think that was sealed, but I'm not sure. And then we have a Cher CD. I love Cher. It's a decent little purse. It's kind of clean, but I didn't recognize the brand name of it, so we'll just keep moving. That was an interesting bingo game. Now, I found this box of storm-proof matches. I'm not really sure if I had a purpose for them or not, but they looked kind of cool. It's kind of a cute bag. This was also another interesting game. Parchesi. It was I believe an Indian game, like an India traditional styled game. Those reminded me of like Little People horses. They're very similar in style, but they were so much tinier. I found this old-timey Hewlett-Packard calculator. Now, I don't know if Hewlett Packard still makes calculators. I threw it in my cart. I tossed it back just because it was a battery operated only calculator. Therefore, you couldn't really even test to see if it still worked. But it was kind of cool. A cool Timex alarm clock that was missing the back cover. Then I found this Pokemon Vulpix. He went in my cart. Definitely kept him. It's an old pound puppy. Or actually, it's a new pound puppy, but I think that people still like to pick them up, even if they're new ones. Who doesn't like pound puppies? These were kind of cool candles. They were floating candles in the shape of pearls. I think those are wine bottle holders, like balancers. I don't know. That plank of wood is what I'm talking about. This was an old hat, and I had wanted to maybe look this up, but not really buy it. There was a creator stitched on the inside. I don't know if the camera picks that up. It's I don't know, whitey or something. It was kind of cool the way that they had hand stitched their name in the hat. These bins were pretty full right through here. The logic of English, I don't know. Some interesting learning tools sometimes. This was kind of a neat National Geographic if you like dogs. Doodling Dragons. I actually did pick up this book. There's a lot of like how to draw books or something that, you know, you can get a little bit of money out of. Now, not much money, but, you know, a few bucks. Tybo, that was like new sealed. I was considering getting that, but I didn't. For myself. That used to be really, really big in the 90s. But anyway, that pretty much concludes this Goodwill bin and thrift haul or thrifting day. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.